These characters used to look like they were pure, but actually on the inside, they are way worse and much darker than they look on the outside. First up, Princess Bubblegum. She was born right after the Mushroom War, or formed from a living pink mass, living her entire childhood totally alone with zero family for a long time, which is why she built a family for herself and turned her mother into an energy source for the kingdom. And from there, she built a whole kingdom and a brainless population because she fears betrayal and chaos, so she manufactured a whole society and made them stupid, naive, and obedient, literally making slaves, even placing cameras everywhere to monitor them, and all characters and even their dreams 24 hours a day under the excuse of protecting them, and even GPS chips in everyone. She is literally ready to wipe out anyone who gets out of her control, like when she destroyed the old robot army that she no longer controlled and which gained free will of their own. Even one time she locked up Flame Princess when she was a baby infant inside a glass lantern for 15 years, literally living her entire childhood inside a glass. Can you imagine the sadism? And also destroying the Fire Kingdom's generators and forbidden weapons of her people because she fears they might surpass her militarily. And besides that, she is emotionally toxic, especially with Finn, who was obsessed with her and went on dangerous adventures for her while she literally exploits him. And whenever any rebellion happens from her people, she coldly disassembles and reprograms them in the lab in an inhumane way. And also, when the people chose King Ooh as their new ruler, she suffered a severe psychological shock. And this is proof that her people did not want her, and she lived for the first time in an ordinary shack as an ordinary human. Tom and Jerry. Now we go to Jerry's character. Even though it's obvious that Jerry is the hero, the truth is that Jerry hides a sadistic streak and bullying behavior that reached the edge of death. In most times, Tom is always relaxed and tries to please the homeowner, but Jerry is the one who tries to poke him, steal food, and hit him while sleeping, and also blows him up, shocks him with electricity, burns his tail, and physical abuse in every way, and he laughs while watching him writhing in pain. And every time the homeowner threatens him with eviction if he doesn't catch the mouse, Jerry deliberately wrecks the house, furniture, and dishes, and pins the blame on him. And besides that, he exploits the dog in order to incite him against Tom. And one of his most famous deeds is when Tom is appointed royal guard, and if he steals anything, his head will be cut off. And Jerry didn't care about him and went in and stole the food, ultimately bringing that fate to Tom. And once he exploited a radio report that a white mouse would explode if hit to terrify Tom, and all episode he tries to humiliate him and abuse him physically while laughing and having fun at his expense. And once Tom got the chance of a lifetime as a piano player in front of a huge audience, but Jerry wouldn't leave him alone, sleeping in the piano, and instead of letting him succeed in his career, he deliberately sabotaged the playing, and Tom broke down from exhaustion and humiliation in front of the crowd. He didn't even let him love in peace when he was trying to approach a girl by playing the violin, but Jerry ruined everything. Mr. Krabs. As for Mr. Krabs, even though he looks like just a stingy guy and acts towards SpongeBob like he is his son, in reality he is the most psychopathic character with zero human empathy and ready to commit any crime for just a few cents. For example, one time the Flying Dutchman came to take his soul, and to save himself he gave SpongeBob's soul for 60 cents and didn't think for a second about this decision. And for example, one time when he found out that Plankton has a phobia of whales, he wore a huge whale costume and went every day to scare Plankton and torture him, which drove Plankton into depression to the point where he didn't sleep for weeks, changing his shape into this look from severe depression. And once he forced SpongeBob to recycle trash, rotten and expired meat, and feed it to the citizens of Bikini Bottom, and when the customers got poisoned, he hid the evidence and ran away. And one time he built a lame and dangerous amusement park made of trash and torn cardboard to force children to pay their money to enter and scam them. For example, when he once turned the Krabby Patty into a newspaper and noticed that normal news doesn't bring good profits, so he started inventing fake news about the citizens of Bikini Bottom to ruin their reputation. And once when he found out that Gary has a magnetic ability that attracts coins, he exploited him in the streets and everywhere to attract money, which caused Gary severe physical exhaustion and tearing of his shell. And his worst deed is that he grave robbed in order to dig up a hat he knew was extremely expensive, and also made a factory to extract jellyfish jelly from jellyfish and sell it. And the worst, killing the health inspector when they came to their restaurant to submit a report, but he killed him and buried him without an atom of mercy. And all of this definitely proves that Mr. Krabs is the worst character in any cartoon you could ever watch. Let's leave him and move to the next one, Grandpa Max. You'd definitely say it's obvious he's a good guy, but if we peek into his past, we'll uncover that something is seriously off. He was a former former soldier and commander in the Plumbers, and his kindness and calmness hide a history packed with brutal, cold, and ruthless military decisions, including luring dangerous aliens to Earth and throwing them into the null void without a fair trial. On top of that, he covers up his military past from his grandkids while throwing their lives into danger and daily death right from the very first moment Ben found the watch, acting like he's using the kids as human shields. Morty from Rick and Morty. Even though Morty looks like the good guy in the show and is always screaming in terror, he's got a terrifying, violent, and sadistic streak born from heavy repression and repeated trauma. For example, in the episode Look Who's Purging Now, Morty completely snaps, losing control over himself and starting to wipe out an entire population while genuinely enjoying the murder. Even in another dimension, evil Morty has a sadistic and monstrous persona, getting off on slaughtering thousands of variants of himself and his grandpa, hiding the fact that the original Morty shares that exact same dark streak. Alan from The Amazing World of Gumball. Alan Keane is this character who acts super sweet, forgiving, and loves doing good deeds. But the truth on the inside is that when Gumball and Darwin accidentally stumble upon his diary, it turns out he's an autocratic narcissist plotting total world domination, wanting to become the president of the world by brainwashing humans, stripping away their freedom, and forcing everyone to smile and be happy by absolute gunpoint, tossing anyone who refuses straight into special prison camps. Pearl Krabs. Even though she looks like a regular teenage girl who's super into fashion, she struggles with intense narcissism and hardcore emotional blackmail. She knows her dad's deep obsession with money, yet she still weaponizes her tears and screaming to force him into blowing thousands of dollars on completely useless junk. To make it worse, she totally shames her dad's genetics and appearance in front of her friends, treating SpongeBob with intense classist and condescending disrespect just because he's a simple fry cook who literally bends over backward trying to make her happy. Even from the movies, Woody, right from his very first appearance in the first movie, he rolls up with a major narcissistic, toxic vibe and a massive control freak obsession. The second the brand new space toy Buzz Lightyear drops in and steals Andy's attention, Woody instantly warps into a bitter, plotting hater, scheming to sabotage Buzz and crush his self-esteem, with the absolute worst part being orchestrating an attempted hit to knock him straight out the window and get rid of him for good. Linda Flynn from Phineas and Ferb. She looks like the sweet, caring mom who loves cooking and shopping while trusting her kids blindly, but she's actually suffering from extreme neglect and total zoning out syndrome the whole summer. During this time, two kids who barely even hit 10 years old are out here building giant roller coaster trains, crafting space tech, handling burning chemicals straight in the backyard while she stays totally oblivious through every single episode, constantly blowing off her daughter Candace's desperate screaming and begging. This exposes a terrifying mental absence where she's basically cool with letting her kids bite the dust because she's too busy hitting the mall and the beauty salon. While we're talking moms, there's also Dexter's mom, the picture-perfect housewife rocking yellow cleaning gloves who acts obsessed with keeping the house spotless and cooking, but she's actually battling severe obsessive-compulsive disorder alongside a terrifying dictatorial streak. She's not just your average neat freak. Her obsession is basically a weapon she drops on the family with military-grade harshness, transforming instantly into a ruthless, tyrannical combat monster ready to level the house and punish the kids physically and mentally the second she spots a single speck of dirt. Lori Loud from The Loud House. She's the oldest sibling in the house, running the show when the parents are off duty, rolling up looking like your average teen obsessed with fashion, but she actually embodies a total power-tripping, ultra-authoritarian dictator vibe because she weaponizes her big sister status and physical edge to drop a brutal, military-grade lockdown on her younger siblings, never hesitating to throw down physical threats, heavy emotional blackmail, and block them from basic human rights like the TV and bathroom just to satisfy her petty cravings or lock herself to her phone. And Starfire from Teen Titans Go, the super sweet pink-haired girl who loves cute little animals, but flips into these chilling, cold-blooded sadistic moments toward everyone else when she loses her temper, instantly ready to torch the city with her powers or blast her own squad with searing heat beams while flashing a smile, with her absolute worst trait being how she treats Robin. She knows he's completely head over heels for her, yet she deliberately plays mind games, dragging him through the dirt and crushing his ego purely for her own amusement, proving she ain't actually sweet since she's rocking ice in her chest. Rigby from Regular Show. Shifting gears to Rigby from Regular Show, this main character rolls up acting like a selfish, manipulative menace down to his core, totally ready to nuke the lives of everyone around him just to feed his petty impulses. For example, back in their high school days, Mordecai got accepted into his dream art college, and out of sheer panic, Rigby straight up forged Mordecai's acceptance letter, swapped it for a rejection notice, and sabotaged his best friend's entire career path just so they could stay on the same level. And in the excellent episode, Mordecai went on an absolute legendary quest to score that epic trucker hat to save Rigby's life. But the most shocking part was that when it finally landed in his hands, instead of a thank you, Rigby selfishly dropped, the color of this hat doesn't really vibe with me, completely brushing off the fact that his boy nearly died trying to bail him out. He's constantly dodging his duties and ducking basic chores, which always triggers massive disasters and puts everyone's lives in the danger zone with zero accountability. And with that, we've smashed right into the finish line of the video, hoping the concept blew your minds. So don't forget to hit subscribe and drop a like on the channel.